All right, guys, I look a mess, but if I waited for Miss Golden to get ready and make herself all beautiful, then we'd just be waiting forever for these chapters. Because sometimes I'm a little lazy, and that's okay. That's okay. We're in quarantine life, right? So, here we go. I'm going to read to you from my bedroom because Mr. Golden is watching a movie out in the living room, and we all know how loud he can be. So, here we go. And I'm sure y'all are still in your pajamas too, right? All right, so this chapter is called Choose Kind, and I was just doing the math. I'm on page 45, and there are 365 pages in this book. So if I read 3 times a week, how many pages would I be reading? That's for my green group. If there is 365 pages, and I'm on page 45, how many pages are left? That's for everybody. That's 365 minus 45. That's how many pages are left. What is that number? And then, if I read 3 times a week, how many pages would I need to read by the end of the school year? All right, we'll see if you can do that math. So I did that math, and it's a lot of pages, which is probably not going to happen. So 1, I need to read more, which means I'm going to look like this more. And 2, I'm probably going to keep reading on into the summer. So you get to see me during the summer. Even though it's summer, you still miss Miss Golden. You still want to listen to me, right? So if you want to finish the book, you have to listen to me in the summer, probably. All right, so anyway, the chapter is called Choose Kind. One more thing before I start. Some of you have been rushing through your lessons, Odyssey, and really just Odyssey is what I've seen so far. You've just been clicking answers. And I know this because it'll show that you completed a test in less than a minute. And that's not possible. So I want you to ask yourself, integrity first, are you being the best you can be? If you're proud of yourself and you say, hey, I like clicking through tests, then keep doing it. But I know that's not true. You aren't proud of yourself when you're getting zeros clicking through tests. That's not the best you can be. So get it together and do your very best. Remember, you are a representation of me, of yourself, of your mom and dad and your parents, grandma and grandpa, of our school, and you need to remember that. You need to be the best you can be, okay? So no more clicking through tests. And it's not just one person, it's like 5 people. Stop clicking through tests. All right. Again, choose kind. Here we go. There was a lot of stuff shuffling around when the bell rang, and everybody got up to leave. I checked my schedule, and it said my next class was English, room 321. I didn't stop to see if everyone else from my homeroom was going my way. I just zoomed out of the class and down the hall and sat down as far from the front as possible. The teacher, a really tall man with a yellow beard, was writing on the chalkboard. Kids came in laughing and talking in little groups, but I didn't look up. Basically, the same thing that happened in homeroom happened again. No one sat next to me except for Jack, who was joking around with some kid who weren't in our homeroom. I could tell Jack was the kind of kid other kids liked. He had a lot of friends. He made people laugh. When the second bell rang, everyone got quiet, and the teacher turned around and faced us. He said his name was Mr. Brown, and then he started talking about what we would be doing this semester. At a certain point, somewhere between A Wrinkle in Time and Shen of the Sea, he noticed me but kept right on talking. I was mostly doodling in my notebook while he talked, but every once in a while I would sneak a look at the other students. Charlotte was in my class, so were Julian and Henry. Miles wasn't. Mr. Brown had written on the chalkboard in big block letters, Precept, Precept, exclamation point. Okay, everybody write this down at the very top of your very first page in your English notebook. And we did what he told us to do. He said, okay, so who can tell me what a precept is? Does anyone know? No one raised their hand. Mr. Brown smiled, nodded, and turned around to write on the chalkboard. Precepts equals rules about really important things, exclamation point. Like a motto, someone called out. Like a motto, said Mr. Brown, nodding as he continued writing on the board. Like a famous quote, like a line from a fortune cookie. And saying or ground rule that can motivate you. Basically, a precept is anything that helps guide us when making decisions about really important things. He wrote all of that on the chalkboard and then turned around and faced us. So, what are some really important things? He asked us. A few kids raised their hand, and as he pointed to them, they gave their answers, which he wrote on the chalkboard in really, really sloppy handwriting. Sometimes my handwriting can be sloppy, especially when I'm talking to you guys and I'm writing because I'm not looking at what I'm writing. Rules. This is something he wrote on the board. Rules, schoolwork, homework. What else? He said as he wrote. Not everyone turning around. Just call things out. He wrote everything everyone called out. Family, parents, pets. One girl called out. The environment. The environment. He wrote on the chalkboard and added, our world. Sharks, because they eat dead things in the ocean, said one of the boys, a kid named Reed, and Mr. Brown wrote down, sharks. Bees, seatbelts, recycling, friends. Okay, said Mr. Brown, writing all those things down. He turned around when he finished writing to face us again. But no one named the most important thing of all. Ooh, we have a golden rule. What's our golden rule? Let's see what theirs is. God, said one kid, and I could tell that even though Mr. Brown wrote God down, that wasn't the answer he was looking for. Without saying anything else, he wrote down who we are. That's not our golden rule, but I'm sure their rule is just as important as ours, so let's read about it. Our golden rule is, I keep wanting to say do the right thing, even when no one is watching, because that's my golden rule, but I think you guys chose do to others as you would have done to you. No, that's not it. That's not the one you chose. You chose, shoot, I can't remember. I know a couple of you watch my videos, so please dojo me. I cannot remember our golden rule. It's something along those lines where you be nice to others and others are nice to you, but I can't remember the saying. Sorry. Okay, anyways, who we are. Who we are, he said, underlining each word as he said it. Who we are. Us, right? What kind of people we are. What kind of person are you? Oh, we were just talking about that. Isn't that the most important thing of all? Isn't that the kind of question we should be asking ourselves all the time? What kind of person am I? Did anyone happen to notice the plaque next to the door of this school? Anyone read what it says? Anyone? He looked around, but no one answered the answer. It says, know thyself, he said, smiling and nodding. And learning who you are is what you're here to do. I thought we were here to learn English, Jack cracked, which made everyone laugh. Oh yeah, and that too, Mr. Brown answered, which I thought was very cool of him. He turned around and wrote in big, huge block letters that spread all the way across the chalkboard. Mr. Brown's September Precept. When given the choice between being right or being kind, choose kind. I like that. Ooh, I really like that. I'm thinking of a few students that would really benefit from soaking this quote in, like really thinking about it and adding it to their personality and to their hearts, because you guys like to argue with each other. And you know what? I even do this sometimes with adults or my husband. You argue because you want to win the argument. You feel like you're right, you know? But ask yourself, is being right worth the argument that you're having? Is it worth losing a friendship or having a bad day? And I need to work on that too. But I want you to reflect for a second. Have you ever argued with a friend because you thought you were right and then regretted it? Meaning, you know, you decide, like, you guys didn't play at recess that day because you were upset with them, and then you were bummed out because you guys didn't get to play together. So instead, next time, maybe you can just choose to be kind. Oh man, we've had so much time off, I can't remember who does this, but it's one of my girls. Every time you disagree on something, you will either rock, paper, scissors for like the bathroom, who's going to go to the bathroom first. Or there's one girl, and I can't remember who it is, but they just automatically give it to the other person. They say, you know what? That's okay. You can do it first. You can have the manipulatives first. You can go first for your turn, you know? And she's just always so kind. And I love that about her. If I could remember who it was. I feel like it's, I know Ryan does it sometimes when he does the bathroom rock, paper, scissors. Heaven does it sometimes. Kenzie has done it. Y'all, I don't get much sleep these days because I got a little baby. I'm sorry. All right, let me continue because we're at the 12-minute mark already. I've been talking a lot today. And we've only read one chapter. I'm not going to read enough. Ugh. Okay, so everybody, he said, facing us again, I want you to start a brand new section in your notebooks and call it Mr. Brown's Precepts, I don't know. He kept talking as we did what he was telling us to do. Put today's date at the top of the first page, and from now on, at the beginning of every month, I'm going to write a new Mr. Brown's Precepts on the chalkboard, and you're going to write it down in your notebook. Then we're going to discuss what the precept and what it means, and at the end of the month, you're going to write an essay about it. Ooh, I like that idea, about what it means to you. So by the end of the year, you'll all have your own list of precepts to take away with you. I'm thinking about how I can do that next year, and maybe you guys can give me your opinions. But you know how we have a quote leader? Although our quote leaders haven't been showing us our quotes. When we were in class, they would forget. But we'd put the quote up on the board and we'd talk about it and what it means to us. And what if I did that once a week or every 2 weeks and then just had you write about it? I probably wouldn't grade it, but at least write about it, what it means to you, how you've practiced it. You know how we have the traits of the month, the character traits. We've learned empathy, compassion. We've learned those things. Each month is a different one. I bet we could do that too and write essays about it. Essay is a paragraph. Okay, moving on. Over the summer, I ask all my students to come up with their very own personal precept. Write it on a postcard and mail it to me from wherever you go on your summer vacation. People really do that? Said one girl whose name I didn't know. Oh yeah, he said, people really do that. I've had students send me a new precept years after they've graduated from the school. Actually, it's pretty amazing. Oh, I would love that. I would love if my students did that. Man. Ugh. He paused and stroked his beard. But anyway, next summer seems like a long way off. I know, he joked, which made us laugh. So everybody relax a bit while I take attendance. And then when we're finished with that, I'll start telling you about all the fun stuff we're going to be doing this year in English. He pointed to Jack when he said this, which was also funny, so he laughed at that. As I wrote down Mr. Brown's September precept, I suddenly realized that I was going to like school no matter what. Oh, growth mindset. No matter what, even if he had bad days, he is choosing to like school. Ooh, I'm proud of him. This makes me happy. This chapter I love. Okay, it's 15-minute mark. I love ya. Gotta go.